Cheshvan Aleph, about 10 lines up. Ahum mavui akum have besura. So there was a bent mavui in surah. We know about these bent mavuis already. Karuch budja osivul bei ba'akmi musei. So they took a mat and they sort of rolled it up and they put it on the corner of the right at the right angle of the bent mavui, as you see in the diagram. Okay, they need a little work on graphics on the mat, but that little corner thing that looks like a mosquito catcher, right? So it's a mat. They rolled it up and they put it there to serve as a lechi. Okay, Rav Chizda Hai Loikrav Loikishmol. The Gemara says I don't really understand. Rav Chizda saying I don't really understand what that does. Doesn't seem to fit Rav's definition of what should be done, or Shmuel's. L'Rav Dama Tarasikam Foolish. According to Rav, who said we treat these bet mavis as a mavim of foolish, and therefore he said you needed a tzuras of Pesach to close things up, because otherwise they're both seen as open mavis and are not able to be carried in because of their two-sided openings to Rishus Harabim. So you need a Tzuras Pesach, and you didn't make a Tzuras Pesach over here. He says, so one more time, L'Rav Dama Terasa Kama full Tzuras Pesach boy. According to Rav, you need a Tzuras Pesach. The Shmuel Dama Terasa Kesasum, and even according to Shmuel, who says you deal with it as a closed. So you have two closed mavus. Each side of the right angle is seen as a separate independent mavi, which if you're going to view it as a separate independent mavi, it needs a lechi on the two entrant ways into Rishus Harabim. That's where you need the lechi. You certainly or the korah, but you don't need it seemingly. Well, no. Let me take that back. He says even according to Shmuel, who says you treat it like a sasim, hani mili. The only time a lechi at that midpoint will be legit is hanimi lechi ma'aliyah. That's why it's only if you're going to put a lechi up. It's got to be a good lechi. It's got to be a lechi that's able to withstand the natural forces that exist. Avalahai, even the noshav beizika, but here, but you have winds. Shadilei, you can throw it away like the flimsy schach that some people buy. Next thing you know, the minute it's a 3 mile an hour wind, it's flying off to the other side of the neighborhood. That's not schach. Okay, it's got to be able to withstand normal conditions. Like Klomu. Here, such a mat is not anything. And therefore, it doesn't seem to work for Rav, doesn't seem to work for Shmuel. According to Rav, you need a Tzuras Pesach. According to Shmuel, you should need a much more firm lechi. So, but however, having said that, v'noids bei sichsa v'chavre. If you stuck a peg in it and you somehow firmed it up and you kept it solid and gave it some body to it where it would not be flying in the wind, that would be considered a valid chibur, and indeed that would work. Okay, what is not discussed here is why do the Shmuel even need a lechi there at all? So what the Mefarshim get into is this question of if Shmuel just looks at each one as a mavi sasum, then all you need really is lechi on the two ends, and the middle should be completely, does not have to be touched. So also Rashi alluded to this idea that somehow even according to Shmuel, lechi in the middle would function, but it's a big tumult in the Rishonim, something to keep in mind when you learn Eruvin Be'iyun. Okay, let's take a look at Rashi. Budja. Okay, but 2, 4, 6, 8 lines up from Rashi. Budja's machzel, it's a mat. They rolled up a mat and they put it in the corner where it bends. B'nei roishay echad asulechi lepischan. At one end, they put a lechi, at its opening. V'machzelas lakmi muso. And they put the machzelas at the point of its bending. What happened there? But I don't. For some reason, the diagram doesn't really show the lechi. Right? I didn't see a lechi there in the diagram. But clearly, the case is it doesn't show it. But there was a lechi on one end, and then there was a right. Okay. So okay. So thumbs up for the art scroll. So Yeah, maybe this is just a Havamina, maybe there's an next diagram, but whatever, Rashi's clear that one end had a lechi to one end of the mavli. The other guys didn't make a lechi. The other guys just didn't do anything yet. So the people of one leg of the mavli seem to have covered both ends. You've got a lechi on one end, you've got the matting on the other end. You're good to go. Not right? He says no. Hanamili. So Gemara says, well, I don't know how that worked because according to Rav, you need a Teresa Pesach. According to Shmuel, you need a good lechi. Hanami lechim al yakshesh lechayim mishnei roshin. Okay, when there's two lechis on both ends, they got to be two good lechis. Lashemari tzorich. According to my Rebbe, tzorich akimuso lechi levad mosin sheb'shnei roshav. You need a lechi. You need a lechi for the bend besides the two lechis at the other end. Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe just it's a Gersa thing. It doesn't seem. Yeah. Okay. Bottom line, that's Gemara's question. Gemara's question: if you're going to put a lechi in the middle there by the bend, it should have to be a good one. And the answer is if. So that was his point, and not the answer, but the qualification was if you stuck a sichsa inside kablaisa blaz, okay, some kind of a peg, some kind of a stick that gave that matting some solid oomph to it, and it would stay there, and you firmed it up and you nailed it in over there, then you're good to go, and that would be considered a valid lechin, at least according to Shmuel. I mean, if you just had this Gemara alone and you left it and you didn't have all the other Gemaras, which there are many dealing with this whole bent mavi thing, it sounds like the Gemara held like Shmuel, right? It sounds like based on this story the people held like Shmuel, because according to Rav you would have needed a Tzuras Pesach. You don't have it. And this would not fulfill Rav's. Just to make a mental note as we proceed through this Masechta on that issue. Okay, let's go back to the Gemara now. Gufa. Okay, let's reference an earlier Gemara. We love doing that in Eruvin, just in case we thought we left a difficult area. It comes back to excite us. Okay, Gufa Chesem and Aleph. Amar v'yemia barabba amarav mavui shnifratz b'miluo. If you have him, right, this is our good friend Rav who told us halacha, which got into a lot of interesting details as it related to that other halacha with that double machlokis and things, right? So, Amar v'yemi barav amarav mavi shifratz b'milu al chotzer, a mavli that opened up, okay, in its smooth, basically straight into the mavi. There was no extensions into the chotzer. Right, we should know this case now very well. The nifrit saw a chutzner connecto, and then on the other side of Olympic, there was a chutzner that was open. It was breached as well, where pretty much you looked and it went straight through. Okay, chutzner muteris mavayaser. Remember, we had the Rav's halacha that it's mutter to carry the chutzner, and however in the mavoi it's usher to carry. And we had a mistaken understanding as to why it's also to carry the mavi. Is it also because of the breach, or is it also because you didn't make an eruv? So we ended up that it's only also because you didn't make the eruv, and the breach on the other side didn't bother us. Okay, so that's Rav's statement, which, like I said, we're familiar with the scenario. Okay, and there you're looking at it again, right? You've got the. Again, it's a rechava. It should be a chutzner. I don't know why it says rechava there. Okay, fine.
He's going backwards looking for it.
Oh no! Don't do that. Yeah, no, he's good. Go backwards. You'll get all. Let's just keep going forward. Okay, so I guess he didn't make a diagram because we've had this diagram 20 times now. So Amalei. So that's a statement. That's a statement that Rav made, and it's been beautifully analyzed. So Amalei Rav bar Ula l'Rav. So Rav bar Ula says for Rabbi bar Abaye, Rebbe, I don't get this whole novelty here with this Rav statement. Let me just say Nihizu. Isn't this a Farish Mishnah? Isn't this something that we could really derive from the Mishnah? So we have, and we know if you have a Mishnah saying something, you don't need Rav, as great as he was, coming and tell you something which is already in a Mishnah which was before Rav. What Mishnah do we have? Chotzer katana shifra sel gedola. So you have a small chotzer which is breached into a large chotzer. Okay, there you chotzer katana. Okay, it's right? So basically, the Chatzah Gadol, if you're looking at the diagram, has the walls around it again. Okay, and the Chatzah Katana is a small. It's a small enclosure moving into the. But I don't know if it has walls. I don't know why it has walls there.
Doorways on each side of the Chatzar Katana, right?
Okay. But Mice, it's open. It has no closure at the entranceway where the Chatzar Katana meets the Chatzar Gedola. There's no entrance. Okay, Chatzar Katana Shifra Tzala Gedola Muteres Katana Asura. So the Mishnah tells us you're allowed to carry the Gedola because the Gedola has walls around it. There's not really a great diagram for that. The chutzner is mutter to carry because the chutzner is surrounded by walls, and the breach is only is a narrow breach which doesn't break the enclosure of the chutzner gedola. However, katana surah. Okay, and the katana is asur b'nei shehi kapischa shel gedola. The small chutzner is asur to carry because it's seen as simply an entranceway and an extension of the larger chutzner. So don't you see that if I'm enclosed and I'm good and you're sort of a narrow extension of where I come from, then like the mavli here would be like the chutzner katana. So why do I need? Can't I derive the fact that the people who are in the big chutzner who are surrounded, they're good to go and they can carry inside their area? But the chutzner katana, which is seen as sort of an extension of a doorway or opening of the Gedola, needs an Eruv to be able to, it needs to be merged with the other Chatzar to be able to carry in its place, just like the Mavli. So the question was, why does Rav have to tell me something which I can derive clearly from this Mishnah? Look at Rashi. Chatzar Katana Shifra Tzal B'Milol Gedola, right? A Chatzar Katana which is completely open to the Chatzar Gedola, Muteres. Gedol Muteris, the larger chutzner is mutter to carry in. And the fact that there is a ability of the people of the chutzner katana to access the chutzner gedola does not prevent them from carrying. Right? Normally, you'd say your natural inclination would say you need a joint eruve chatzeris over here, but apparently you don't need it. Right? Because the Gedola, I have walls, and that's just seen as a entranceway. It's a door. Because there are walls on both sides, as you can see. There are walls on both sides of the kishtei chatzeros. It's like two chatzeros with one doorway between them. Right? If you had both things were enclosed and had doorways, well, then there would be no question, right? But here, the only problem is that the Chatzar Katana doesn't have any doors. And we're going to later on establish that this case is where the Katana is not wider than 10. The 10 amas. Because if it was more than 10, obviously, you can't view an opening more than 10 amas as a doorway. You have to, in order to be a doorway, you need to be 10 amas or less, which we've established many times over already. So that's the case. The case is that it's less than 10 amas and we're good to go. So, Katana Surah, the day Lav Pesach, because for the people of the Katana, you're sitting there, you're not enclosed on the fourth side, you're wide open. Right? There's nothing enclosing you on that fourth side. Elapirza, it's a complete breach, a complete break. V'nasas Rishusan Shal B'nei Gedola, and now you become the domain of the B'nei Gedola, Sharinas Arva Me'imahen. You're mixing with them. There's nothing separating you from them. So if you want to carry in your own area, you can't do that if you're not enclosed, and you need some doorway, and for you it's on a doorway because the opening the walls go straight through, and there's nothing that closes you up. So can't you see that the case of the chutzner is exactly like the case of the mavli, and just like in the chutzner you can't carry in the chutzner katana, you can't carry in the mavli. So why do I need Rav when there is a Ferish Mishnah? Let's back to the Gemara, 4 lines from the bottom. If I just had the Mishnah, the two Chatzeros, I would not be able to derive Rav's halach. Why not? Because I would have thought when do you say that the Chatzar Gedola is considered enclosed and is able to be carried in? Is only when there's no intrusion of the people of Olympic Boulevard who keep coming in and using it as an entranceway to cross over to Wilshire. But in a case like Rav's case, remember in Rav's case we had the breach to Olympic, and we had the ability for these people to overflow into that area and to hang out there and to traverse there, to make it a shortcut to cut through to the other Rishus Rabbim. Maybe even the Chatzar you wouldn't be able to carry. So the idea that people are moving into your Chatzar, that is not discussed in this mission. You never know that. Therefore, you need Rav to advance it. Okay, look at Rashi. Amalei Rav Heter Chatzar, 3 lines from the bottom. Amalei Rav Amrav Bibi, Rav Bibi answer back, Heter Chatzar Shminon. It's telling you the allowance of carrying the Chatzar. Even though it's breached on the other side, on the top of that T, where we had seen, the traffic potentially be able to get in there because it was a nice open area. People cut across from Olympic. It's a great shortcut. Cut through an alley. You get to Wilshire. Zu derech Chatzar umav. 1 second. The Darsei Rabbi Mishus Rabim Zulu Shus Rabim Zu. Derech Chatzar umavi. They go through the Chatzar umavi to get to the other Shus Rabim. Dimihasam avamina b'shem Darsei Rabim. I would say, why you can carry in the Chatzar, because there's no other people, the general population doesn't get in there. There's no traversing. Because in that case of the Mishnah, the large Chatzar was never breached on the other side to a Rishus Rabbim. It didn't happen. That was not the case. So to advance this Chiddush, just because that even if you have people trampling into your into your Chatzar from the Rishus Rabbim to get to the Rishus Harabim Acher, that still will allow you to carry in the Chatzar. Versus really, and you don't think I can derive that from even a different point of a Mishnah? I can derive that as well. Back to the Gemara. Well, now Mitznina, I learned that as well. So I don't need Rav for that. Why? Because let's learn a different Mishnah or. Look, come on. Okay, let's just quote later on. Okay, fine. But let's learn another Mishnah, because it says like this: Chatzar sharabim nichnasim la bezu. Maybe it's a brisa. Sounds like it's a brisa. Chatzar sharab nichnasim ba. Let's say you have a chatzar which is open to the public domain. So even though it's your courtyard, but it's open to people that can come in easily and move in from the Rishus Rabbim to your chatzar. So they're able to come in on one side and leave on the other side, and it's open to Rishus Rabbim. Okay, right? So you see, I need 2 chatzeros, but
2 options.
2 options. I mean, either it's a four opening option or 2 opening option. Okay, but basically you see a chatzar, and basically the outside of that chatzar is a public domain. Let's go with the 2-side option, the bottom one, the bottom chutzner. So basically, you've got people on Wilshire going to the chutzner, and people on Olympic going into the chutzner, and that will leave you a lot of traffic. Okay, from the multitudes, from the people from the Rishus Rabbim. So the question at hand in this brayse is, how do you view that? Do you view that as a Rishus Rabbim when it comes to the laws of Tumah and Tyra, or not? What you're asking, why do we learn, who cares about Tumah v'Tayra? Well, we know that the laws of Tumah v'Tayra and Suffolk Tumah, it makes a difference whether something is deemed a Rishus Rabbim or Rishus Yachid. Because we learned back in our good old days in early Masechtas that Suffolk Tumah Rishus Rabbim is mutter, is tahar, Suffolk Tumah Rishus Yachid is tamei. So how are you going to view this chutzah with both these openings into the public? How are you going to view that? Is it Rishus Rabbim or is it Rishus Yachid? Let's see. So chatzar shab nechas la bezu v'yotz la bezu rishus ram l'tumah. When it comes to tumah, you look at it practically. From a practical point of view, you've got a lot of people traversing this area, so it's viewed like rishus harabim. And if you're not sure you touched a sheretz in this area, since it's a suffix, we're going to be mekel, and we're going to say you don't have to go to the mikveh. You're good to go. You're still tar. You can eat truma, and everything is good. However, Rishus Yachid Shabbos. When it comes to Shabbos, since Shabbos is not so much a practical issue of do you have people traversing the area, it's more of a technical issue. Are you enclosed? When it comes to Shabbos, you're enclosed. So if you're enclosed, it's called Rishus Yachid. So don't you see from this documented source of Tanoim that the fact that people traverse through to a chutzner when it comes to the laws of Shabbos, deem it as a Rishus Yachid, and you can carry there. So don't I already know that other aspect? This was the secondary chiddush of Rav. Well, but sorry, it's not a real chiddush if I can learn it from a brisa. Where it says, no, you cannot learn it from the brisa. If you just had that case where it's deemed, look at the language of the brisa. Brisa says it's deemed as a Rishus HaYachid when it comes to Shabbos. Let's see. Maybe in the case of the chutzner, who said the two openings were opposite each other, where you can see through from one to the other. Right? Maybe it's it's only true when the two openings are not against each other. Maybe that's where you deem it as Rishus HaYachid. Aval zeh keneged zeh. But in Rav's case, and I know right away everyone's getting agitated, relax, just stay calm. Aval zeh keneged zeh. But in a case where, in Rav's case, where the opening is up flush, right? The mavi opens into the chutzner, and the breach is exactly parallel to the mavi, where you can see all the way straight through. Maybe in that situation where you can see straight through, you wouldn't be allowed to carry, because there it mamish appears like it's a straight walkway. Maybe in the case of the chutzner, who says that the two walkways, there it's taka parallel. But let's say that's not the exact case. Maybe I don't know if he has another one where it's shloi keneged by the chutzner, but in that situation, maybe only there you can carry. When it's zeh shloi keneged, when the two breaches are not paralleling each other, where it's not as easy, right, to walk. Right, if you had, trust me, if you had the street in Manhattan, the Ataka have streets like that. Certain streets that sort of close up, and you got to make a left turn. Right, there's like it blocks. There's like the Pan Am building blocks the street. You got to make a left turn. So if you had a choice between taking a street that goes straight through to the other side, or you got to go straight, make a left, you're gonna pick the street that goes straight through. So maybe there's a distinction. Why doesn't he have Zeshal Genezah? It's weird.
Downtown L.A. on Wilshire, Wilshire goes all the way to one Wilshire, and there's this. It blocks, and then you have to take a left or a right. It's annoying.
Yeah, right. So maybe when do we say it's considered like Rishus HaYachid? When it's annoying, when you can't go all the way through straight, when you got to make a turn. But in the case by Rav, where it's all the way through, maybe their taket's viewed as Rishus Harabim, and you won't be able to, or at least it's not viewed as a mutadika place to be able to carry. Well, that's only good according to the Havamina. Right, you guys are agitated because didn't we just already qualify Rav and change the scenario where it's not zeh keneged zeh? So fertig more ula Rav dama zeh keneged zeh aser. Right, according to Rav, who says Rav never said his halacha when it's zeh keneged zeh. Even Rav says halacha only when it's zeh shlo keneged zeh. When it's not, remember we had it, we had the curve and then the opening was on the side. Right, back in the good old days 2 days ago. So according to Rav's new understanding, according to Rav Chizda, right? I'm sorry, not according to Rabbah. Ula Rabbah damazesh keneged zeh aser ha the Rabbah my mukila. But zeh shlo keneged zeh. So, but according to Rabbah, who reestablished Rav in a different scenario of when the two openings were not breached one parallel the other, the opening of the Olympic side was off to the side, where it's exactly the same as the Mishnah or as the Brisa. Tarti Lamali. Why do you need two cases? So your answer only works the way we originally understood Rav, but the way we now understand Rav, I don't see any advancement of that Brisa of Rav over that Brisa. It's exactly the same case. The answer is no. It's still not the same case. Because Imei Hasam Havamina, if it is only from the case of the brisa that says, look at the language. A brisa says, if you have a chutzner that's breached from two sides, as a din of Rishus HaYachid. So those, which means a private domain, those words are not so clear. Does that mean you can carry inside of it? Or maybe it means it's deemed as a private domain that if you throw something from Rishus HaRabim into it, will nail you for a skila. we'll nail you for a chiv deraisa. But doesn't mean maybe when it comes to carrying inside of it, maybe taka or machmir. Calling something rishus yachid doesn't automatically mean we're going to give you the status, full status of rishus yachid in every respect. It might mean we'll only give you the respect l'chumra to nail you for chil Shabbos. So that's why it's a difference. So one more time, inside. If I only had that case where the Brisa says an open 2 breaches in a chutzner have a din of rishus hayachid, maybe that's only when to throw it in. To throw it in from rishus harabim, we're going to nail you. Avol taltel, but when it comes to carrying inside that chutzner emaloi, I might think you would not be allowed to carry. Kamash Malon, Rav therefore needs to tell me this Gavaldige Chiddush that you're even allowed to carry inside that chutzner when it's breached from 2 sides. Granted that it's not breached totally parallel to each other. That's a different story. That's where Rav came along and said that don't go that far. But at the end of the day, that you can carry inside. Rav is because he says mutter. Right? He says, b'nei chotzer, it's mutter to carry. He uses that language. He doesn't call it rishus yachid, where you can look at it 2 ways. He calls it straight up mutter to carry, and therefore I need Rav to advance his chiddush. Let's take a look at Rashi. Okay, bottom, let's go back to Amin Aleph for a minute. Last Rashi in Amin Aleph. Rishus harabim l'tumah. So when it comes to Rishus Harabim, when it comes to the laws of Tumah, it's viewed as Rishus Ram with Seikatar. And when you're in doubt in a Rishus Harabim, the doubt goes leniency. How do you say, where do you know this from? Let's see. The Suffolk Tumah Misota Gamina, because we learn out the laws of Tumah from Sota. And by Sota, something like this is not called a Mokam Yichud. The only time you have your din of Sota, if I warn you, not to go secluded with that guy. So if you're caught in a Best Western, in a hotel room, that's yichud. Let's say you're caught taking a stroll in the park. Okay, is that yichud? Can that bring you to the status of a sota? No, because you're not in a secluded area. So we learn out from sota that to have the status of a tumah dika sota, the question at hand needs to be taking place in Rishus HaYachid, not in Rishus HaRab. And that happens to have a ripple effect throughout all the laws of Tumah V'Taira. Okay, if without Rav, I would have said if the 2 openings are breached mamish parallel one to the other, loy havilo chatzur Rishus HaYachid the Shabbos. Maybe the chatzur is not considered Rishus HaYachid. V'ashashmina Rav, and now we need Rav to tell me. Even when the 2 openings are mamish parallel one to the other, right straight across, even there it's mutter. Well, that's what we'll find according to our Havamina. However, Ularabba, second Rashi on the page, that in the case where the Olympic opening and the Mavi opening are mamish parallel, flush up against each other, straight across, the Asr. Okay, and therefore it would be also to carry because it's viewed as an open mafulish according to Rabbah. Okay, how are you going to establish Rav's case? Only in a case where the 2 openings are not paralleling each other. And perforce, once you adopt Rabbah's position, the word kenegdo, opposite it, has to take on now a new definition in Rav. He says, connected to come Rav lav dafka. Does not mean specifically that it's mamish connected it, which sounds like it's directly paralleling it. The time of the Rav is shloi irvu. Because we already established the reasoning for Rav is only when there's no Erev, aval irvu afilu mavi mutter. But when there's an Erev, even the mavi is mutter. I don't know. Korcha connected to Rav lav dafka. Okay, I understand. That's good. Though kimna time, I guess. In other words, what he's saying is, since we've established a Rav will only say it's us to carry because of the lack of eruv. Remember, we had the Yahulish. Did the eruv make did the chotzer make an eruv with the movi or not? So he said the only reason why Rav said that you cannot carry is only because you didn't make an eruv. Had you made an eruv, you can carry. What about the back breach? So in other words, I guess Rashi is giving us the backdrop to why Rabbah felt compelled to to change the scenario, because basically Rav is saying that the breach doesn't bother me. Well, if the breach doesn't bother you on the Olympic side, it only could be because it was an opposite. Because it doesn't make sense in Rav's world. It does not make sense for Rav to have been that lenient to allow you to carry when you can see straight through. So since we made the issue the Eruv only and not the breach therefore had to be moved in a different direction. So otherwise, it would make Rav's chiddush just too big. Rabbi would not be able to handle that chiddush, and therefore we had to adjust it. Okay, tarti lomali. So, but now that with this new definition of Rabba in Rav, you still don't need this additional factor. You don't need Rav to say it, because I already can learn it out from the fact of the whole chutzner situation in Rishus Rabbim, and that it's considered a Rishus Yachid. Okay, we already have this halacha about the chutzner with the Rabbim traverse. And this Rav's halacha can be derived from that other brisa regarding the chutzner. Afil zeh keneged zeh. Okay, and that's in that case it's even zeh keneged zeh. V'kol shem b'zeh shlo keneged zeh. And certainly when it's not paralleling each other. And the fact that you cannot carry if you're a mavli, that you can learn out from the Mishnah about the Chatzar Katana with the Chatzar Gedola. So both elements, because right there are two elements of Rav's Chiddush, both elements can be learned out from Tanoic sources. So why do I need Rav to open up his mouth altogether? If he did not say a word, I could have derived both elements from these two different Tanoic sources, right? One word says, no, not right. Because Imei Hasam, because if you just had the Tanoic source of the Chatzar that was breached on two sides, that has a din of Rishus Yachid, you know what I would have said? He says, Imei Hasam Chatzar Shrab Nechasam, but if I only had the brisa where the Chatzar is being traversed by the people on the Rishus Rabbim, the Tani Rishus HaYachid Shabbos, where the language there says it's deemed as Rishus HaYachid when it comes to Shabbos. That's the language that's used. It's a Rishus HaYachid. Well, what does it mean it's Rishus HaYachid? Havamina. Haide call it Rishus HaYachid. I would have thought that which we're calling it Rishus HaYachid is Lizraik. It's only for the element of throwing something into it. Rishus HaRabbim L'tocho, you throw something on one, you're standing on Olympic and you throw it into the Chatzar, oops, you got a major problem. You just broke Shabbos in a serious way because you just basically carried or threw, which is the same as carrying, from Rishus Yachid to Rishus Rabbim, or Rishus Rabbim to Rishus Yachid. Avlu talta b'tocho. When it comes to the issue of carrying inside of that area of the chutzner itself, emolo mishtarye. Maybe I would say Rav never, the brisa never went to that extent. U'mirabanan, the ligs are rabbanaleh. Okay, and maybe rabbinically it would be prohibited to do so because Rabbanan would be geyser that we don't want you carrying. It looks like a carmelis, and we don't want you carrying in there. Kamashmal and Rav. If I need a Rav to step up big time to tell me the chiddush that you are indeed allowed to carry in that chutzner. That not only is there a Rishus Yachid on the chumradik end to nail you if you threw something in there, but it's even a Rishus Yachid on the leniency end that within that chutzner you are totally comfortable to carry, and there are no issues. Okay, so Baruch Hashem. Okay, we got to another dot. So it's a big accomplishment in Eruvin. So now we're ready to go weiter. Okay, Itmar. Let's try this one. We learned as follows: Mavu Ya'asu Kenadol. Okay, so Nadol is interestingly a centipede. Okay, so hopefully this diagram will work out for us. Okay, can we get Rashi's? He's got a bunch of different. One second here. I think that one. Yeah, I think this one. Yeah, the second one right there. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the one we're going to be working with. What? Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay, so 86, right? So it looks like a centipede because you got a lot of little, alleyways there, and it looks like a bunch of legs. So look what you have there. You got on the far end, you got like this big L, right? A Mavi Gadol, right? You see the Mavi Gadol, the words there, and then you got a bunch of narrow Mavis in between each of the Chatzeros. Okay, so the question is, how are you going to close this off, and how are you going to make it mutter to carry? You've got one question about the Mavi Gadol. You got another question about the narrow alleyways between each one, how do you need to close it off? So the way they did it, see, right? It looks like you look at it. There's a lechi, a korah, a lechi. So they took care of their exposure to Rishus Harabim seemingly very well. What about on the inside of things? How are you going to view that? So let's take a look. Zitmar. Movi ha'osri kenado. You got a movi that looks complicated, okay, and we're looking at it, okay. Amar Abaye. So Abaye says it's not so complicated. Just follow my instructions very carefully. Osa tzurza pesach lugadol. You make a tzurza pesach for the big alleyway, okay, right? And then you see that you there on the bottom. That's a tzurza pesach, okay, because you got instead of just one. Okay, so fine. So where the yellow is, okay, we're getting very fancy here. So the yellow is a tzurza pesach. Why isn't that just a cross beam? Because don't you see the two posts and the cross beam? So when you combine two lechis with a korah, what you have is a tzurza pesach. Okay, and that's what you do sometimes with your sukkah. When you have a big break and your sukkah and you need to close off the opening, you make a tzurza pesach. So make a tzurza pesach at one end of the movi gadol. Okay, v'hana kulu mishri b'lechi v'kura, and the rest of them will be permissible through a lechi and a korah. Okay, for some reason he doesn't talk about the top end of it, right? You don't see any closure there, but l'chayra, you would have to close that off as well. I would imagine. I don't see why you don't have to close off the top of the movi gadol. We close off the bottom real nicely, but let's see. Okay, so one more time. Amar Abaye osin tzurza pesach gadol v'ana kulu mishri b'lechi v'korah, and the rest of them are going to be permissible either with a lechi or a korah, as you see in the picture that two of the alleyways chose a korah. One alleyway chose the two alleyways chose a lechi. One alleyway chose the korah, and you're good to go. Everything is fine. So Amalei Rava says, well, wait a minute, Abaye, let's analyze this. Come on. Who are you saying this in? Whose position? Well, we know, right? So far in Eruvin, we've only had two views of a bent mavli. We've had Rav's view and we've had Shmuel's view. Right? We don't really have any other opinion about bent mavlis. So let's see. It's got to fit into one of those two. So Rava, come on. Kishmuel doma terasa kisasum. So if you're going to follow Shmuel, who says that you view the alleyway as if it was closed, so why do you have to bother with a tzurza pesach? According to Shmuel, remember he said you take the two ends of the big of the L. It wasn't as complicated, but essentially on the movi gadol part, which was essentially the same, right? Just leaving out all the legs there of those houses there and those side things. He basically says you look at it as two closed mavus, and all you need is a lech in each side. So if you're in Shmuel's world, this whole tzurza pesach thing doesn't seem to be necessary. Shmuel said you look at the L-shaped mavu as simply two closed up mavus, because think about it, one closes at one end, the other one closes, right? They both really essentially close in the same area, because you go straight down, you're hitting a closure. So I don't turn according to Shmuel. I don't make that turn and look at it as it's as a big open mavi and two open mavis. I look at it as a closed mavi, and all I would need is a korah or a lecha on each end. Okay, he says viod. Okay, and furthermore, mavi akum David ben Adoi. There was a bent mavi in Ardoi v'choshel derav, and they were concerned for Rav, and they required a tzurza pesach. So if they required a tzurza pesach, I mean they were choshish for Rav. So why? So it seems like the locha would not be like Shmuel. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's just see the Rashi here on this. On Rava's attack on Abaye, he says, okay, nadol. Okay, you see Rashi nadol. About a third of the way down. Okay, Sheret Sheish Baruglaim Harbe. It's a centipede that has a lot of legs. Kiratanya B'Toras Koinim Mar Barugom Zenadol. If it has a lot of legs, it's a nadol. Mavi Yosu Kinadol. Okay, you have a mavi made like a nadol shepsuchen loy muvos harbe, where many mavis are open up into the big one. Rashem psuchen l'shus ram, and the other ends of those smaller movies are open to Rishus Rabim, as we see there in the diagram. Rosha Pesuach L'Shus Rabim Acher. And the other end of the Mavi Gadol is also open to Rishus Rabim, right? Not the Mavi Cotton, but the Mavi Gadol. So that's why Rashi is a little confusing, and you need the Mefarshim to explain. So the big Mavi is an L, and it's open on both sides of the opening of the L are open to Rishus Rabim. The Mavi Cottons are open to the Mavi Gadol on one side, and to the Rishus Rabim on the other, and we will have to pick this up on Thursday morning. Wednesday.